Got something cool on the bench today. Been messing around with a few suppressed items, 22 conversions, but now it's a proper 9mm. This is the CZ P-09c Nocturne, and it is suppressor ready. This is one that is all set up. I just went through and got everything running great. It is shooting all the ammo I have, 115, 147, 150, 158 grain. Everything is working great. And as you can see, I have another one to set up today. So let me just show you a few tips and tricks and how to get a CZ running with an F4 suppressor. The first step here is to polish a very specific part of the slide. This part of the slide glides along the hammer and also the next bullet in the magazine. A polished, gentle radius on the inside will ensure that it glides smoothly across the next bullet. And the same treatment on the back of the slide will ensure that the hammer cocks nice and smoothly without getting caught or hung up. Next, after inspecting the parts, I will use frog lube to lubricate all of the moving components. First, I'm focusing on where the slide interacts with the frame, and then where the barrel locks up with the slide, then the part of the slide that I just polished, and lastly, the slide release pin. To mount the reflex sight, I'm going to remove the plate, and then check out the red dot. Once the mounting area is clean, I'm going to set the reflex sight in position and push it forward against the pins. Each screw already has Loctite on it. Using a Torx screwdriver, I tighten each screw down to 20 inch-pounds. Now with the suppressor, I can show you a picture here. It's kind of tough to co-witness. That view is kind of tiny. If you use your dominant eye to find the dot and then your non-dominant eye open, that non-dominant eye will fill in the sight picture and you can shoot just fine even if the sight is completely obstructed. And with the red dot, that works really well. A little harder with iron sights. What I'm going to do is get that sight up a little higher. What I have here are some shims. They are from JP Enterprises. These are 1-degree shims, and if you alternate the direction, they add elevation. I have some longer screws I had to order. I can put the information on the screen here. Okay, there we go. And now with those shims in there, you can see that that window is quite a bit bigger. All right. I have some 147 grain Federal. Just gonna do a little bit of sighting in right now. Yeah. And yes, if you've shot suppressors, you know that they are dirty and you're likely gonna get some crap thrown at your face. All right, and yeah, even though it might be hearing safe, it's still loud. Let's try at 25 yard. There's a 10-inch plate. No, that's a 12-inch plate. Let's see how close we are. That's a good sign. Let's try the little itty-bitty 4-inch plate next to it. Okay. Ooh, we hit it. We're shooting high, so we need to go down. All right, let's go ahead and paint those targets so I can see where I'm hitting and get that just dialed in. I like sighting in with steel. Chuck a little bit of paint on there and you can see where you're hitting. Pretty easy to dial in a pistol. If I need to get real precise, I'll get out the paper. There you are. And back you go. All right, now for a little ammo test. Going to start with the lightest and move to the heaviest. So first up is the Winchester 115 grain. Next we have the Agula 115 grain. Then the Remington 115. This is a hollow point. Now we're getting close to the subsonics. This is the Federal 147. And the last one is a subsonic. That is the Fiocchi 158 grain. All right, we're gonna do some quick upgrades to this gun to help it run a little bit better with the suppressor, but first let's measure the trigger pull. And the manufacturer wants us to use a snap cap. All right, that's not too bad. Pretty stiff. Okay. All right, there are 2 springs that I need to replace. I'm gonna go pretty quick here. Now the first spring is the recoil spring. We're going to take out the captured one that came from the manufacturer, grab our aftermarket spring, and there is a stainless steel guide rod right around here. That is our Cajun Gunworks guide rod. If you are wondering, it is a 15-pound hammer spring and an 11-pound recoil spring. Also with that hammer spring, I have to use a lighter firing pin spring as well. That just pops right out there, and then, see, this comes out. Careful not to lose that. And our factory spring comes right out there. And hello, Cajun spring. Put that back, there we go, nice and centered. Pin moves, that part's done. Perfect. Then I've also noticed on these that sometimes in here can be a little slipperier as well. So let's give that a little rub till it feels nice and smooth. Again, not really sanding through the finish. There's no need to do that. Just a little bit of polish. Let's go ahead and do the hammer spring now. Take out the factory, drop in our Cajun Gunworks spring. Let's go ahead, put that back together, and try the trigger pull again. Not much difference. Okay. I was just about to go shoot and I realized there's one more spot. You can see right in there. You can see that shiny spot. That's another spot where we are rubbing. Just gonna go ahead and polish that real quick here, just to slick that up a little. And we'll do our best to make that slippery also. Okay, let's go test some ammo. We're going to start with the heaviest and go lightest. So Federal 147, Blazer 124, Winchester 124, Winchester 115, Federal 115, Remington hollow points 115, and lastly the weakest, the Agula 115 grain. And because these guns are a pair, this is gun number 2. We'll see if we get the same results. Same result. All right, now just a quick little test to compare the sound of the different rounds. Again, don't use this. You cannot compare this to any test other than the one I'm doing against each other here. This is not a scientific sound meter. This is an iPad, but hey, here we go. Federal 147, 104.7, Blazer 124, 103.8, Winchester 124, 103.7. Winchester 115. 105.2. Federal 115. 103.3. Remington hollow points 115. 104.2. And lastly, the weakest, the Agula 115 grain. 102.6. But that one doesn't really count because it didn't eject. And just gonna do one more test now, see how they sound. Gonna start with our baseline, which is the Winchester 115 grain. Try some really light stuff, but fast stuff, the 70 grain Federal. And then I'm gonna end on a hollow point, which is 147 grain, which is supposed to be subsonic. 107.2. Now this is the fast stuff, the 70 grain. 106.7. And now this is supposed to be the subsonic hollow point. 104.8. All right guys, here's the deal with suppressed 9mm. A lot of people are gonna spend a bunch of money on their stuff and they're gonna be like, this is the best thing ever, it's so quiet, it's hearing safe. It's basically a line of BS. What is hearing safe? Now, I think hearing safe is something that you can do every day without damaging your hearing. So the only gun that I've seen achieve that is .22 long rifle, semi-automatic out of a 16-inch barrel with a quality suppressor and its standard velocity, meaning it's subsonic. Now the high velocity, that's good. Doesn't hurt the ear, it doesn't feel uncomfortable, but I wouldn't want to shoot it every day. The only other one that felt fairly comfortable, believe it or not, I wouldn't shoot it every day, but it didn't cause pain, was the 223 out of a 20-inch barrel with a really good suppressor and the gas turned off, effectively a bolt action. Other than that, subsonic 350 was pretty comfortable, but the only thing that I would say hearing safe, .22 long rifle. Everything else, it's kind of crap. I mean, it's good. 350 Legend or 300 Blackout subsonic is absolutely incredible when you compare it to a full power rifle. And I would be totally fine hunting with that without ear protection, knowing that when I shot afterwards, my ears would not be ringing, but it would still kind of be that uncomfortable, like when you have a hammer and you hit a board inside and it's like, it's louder than I thought. Or when you drop a board on, you like chuck a board out of your truck or whatever in the garage and it slaps on the concrete and it makes that noise and you're like, oh man. Your ears are kind of like, ooh, that didn't feel good. But then like 10 seconds later, you're like, whatever. I don't hear ringing and I forgot about it. And I think that's kind of where a lot of the subsonic falls. It's kind of like dropping a board on concrete. It makes that loud noise. It feels uncomfortable. Your ears might ring a little bit if you're sensitive, but the ringing diminishes in a matter of seconds. But anyway, that's kind of what we're at right now with the 9mm. There is a little bit of tinge. I do think that if it's raining and colder outside, humid air, I think it actually is quieter. I think this warm, dry air right now makes it louder. I don't have a way to test that though. But anyway, let me just shoot once without the ears and I'll put some protection on for the rest of these. See how well this cycles. I think the key here is a good grip. See, that barely cycled. That wasn't too bad. Let's go for the long target. A little bit of pop to it. Not terrible, but it's not bad.
Before I end the video, I wanted to have a brief discussion about decibels. Decibel is a logarithmic scale, meaning that every time you increase 10 decibels, it is 10 times the sound intensity. However, because the human ear is kind of weird, every 10 decibels only feels twice as loud. Now with that in mind, let's compare 3 different gunshots. The first shot will be the loudest. This is Fiocchi 115 grain 9mm traveling at about 1200 feet per second.
.103.6.
This next one is Federal Syntech 150 grain 9mm, traveling at about 890 feet per second.
100.7. Wow.
And lastly, out of a 1911 with a 22 conversion and an AB Little Bird suppressor, this 36 grain Remington is traveling about 1,000 feet per second.
94.9.
The iPad is not a scientific sound instrument, and these numbers are not the be-all end-all when it comes to sound measurement. The important takeaway here is that suppressed 9mm with quiet ammo like the 150 Syntech is awesome to shoot. It will protect your hearing, your neighbors will love you, your friends will think you're cool, and your wife might even be okay with you having a gun range 100 feet from your house. But at the end of the day, if you're shooting a suppressed 22 pistol or larger, and it is convenient, you should wear hearing protection.
I had a lot of fun setting this gun up, and I'm super happy with how it's working. It's really good. Anyway, thanks for watching, and until next time. Hey! I forgot a hammer. Oh man. Doesn't impale us, which it shouldn't because it's kind of off to the side a little. Ow! Oh! A fire pit. Hang on. Ow. I don't know who put that there. That hurt. Anyway, hang on. That's better.